What's up, guys, and welcome to today's video. I hope everybody is well. Today we're going to be taking a little trip down memory lane, and I'm going to be sharing with you the journey so far of the company which I launched back in 2019, the THRST clothing brand. Now, before you think I don't care about clothing, I don't care about the journey so far, I think you should watch this because it's quite an interesting tale. I've learned quite a lot. I've made a few mistakes, and for anyone who is thinking about launching their own brand, business, or just has an interest in entrepreneurship, then this is definitely worth a watch. So let's go back to 2018. This was the year where I just so happened to do quite a lot of traveling. I had free time, I had disposable income. I wanted to see the world, I wanted to enjoy myself. Now, it's no surprise that when I was going to a lot of these places, they were quite warm. I'm a fan of the beach. I'm a fan of the sun and pools and wearing as little as possible. So obviously, when I'm going to these places, I'm spending the majority of the time in swim shorts. The problem was, at that time, I found it quite difficult to find a pair of swim shorts that fit my build. To be honest with you, I actually struggled to find any kind of a brand that would fit the requirements which I had. So it was about that time I came to the realization that I needed to create my own brand. I mean, at that point, I'd already established quite a big following, and there was quite a lot of things I could have brought out in terms of clothing, but I feel like swim shorts was something which was a little bit different and less people were doing it. Everyone was going down the route of bringing out fitness clothing. I wanted to bring out swim shorts and swimwear. So this is when I teamed up with a company called Genflow. They basically did everything which I did not want to be doing, and basically the things which I was terrible at and they were already very good at. So they took care of the manufacturing, they took care of the fulfillment, the customer service, the website. So all I had to do was just to obviously sign off on the designs, submit some of my own designs, and just market them. We ended up doing a pretty sweet deal whereby we do a revenue split from the profits made. So obviously I get a majority of the profits which are made, but they take a smaller percentage. And I still maintain 100% ownership of the company and the brand itself. So it was early 2021 when things really started to level up, and that was when I hired a marketing director. Now they just transformed everything, particularly the content, which was just going out on social media. That was when the THRST brand started to have its own unique identity. Like, we were creating a story each time we were doing a campaign. And it was an amazing opportunity for me to not only go to really cool places and locations, but also to meet some really interesting and cool people as well. So obviously all these different campaigns, we were hiring different models, and it was just really fun. Like, it was highly enjoyable. It was crazy to think that this was actually work. Like, it felt like each time I was going to this place, it was a holiday. So I went to Ibiza, Bali, Thailand, Capri, Rio. And each time we're going to these places, not only was I doing a really cool vlog, but I mean, we were creating art. I'm going to show you some of the stuff which you've got now, which is actually hanging on my wall as we speak. This was an amazing shot that was captured in Thailand as the sun was setting. We were doing a bit of sparring on the beach, and I'm literally about to get demolished by a flying knee kick. But it's also a great demonstration of how durable and stretchy the shorts are. This next one was from the campaign we did in Capri, probably one of my favorite shots so far. This is just the absolute pinnacle of living, in my opinion. On a classic Riva boat, floating on crystal clear blue waters, sat with an absolute worldie who's wearing bikinis with the backdrop of Capri behind me. Like, honestly, it does not get better than that. Over this period of time, I made some adjustments to the shorts just to improve the overall fitting and the quality. And we actually changed up the material. So before, it was quite a rigid material with no stretch, and then I completely changed that. So now each of the shorts come with a little bit more stretch, which is great. And not only that, I ended up making them a little bit shorter as well. So there's a very fine line from them being too short and then too long. I mean, one of the issues I had when I was trying to buy other swim shorts before I started my own brand was they were just too long. Like, they would go down to the top of the knee, or they'd go around to the knee completely. And they would basically cover up the quads, which I didn't really want to cover up because I spent so much time in the gym training them. I wanted to show them off. And one of the biggest problems which I had with swim shorts before I released my own was that they were all a little bit too baggy. At least for my liking anyway. When you wear baggy shorts, they give the appearance of your legs looking smaller. In some circumstances, they can make you look like you've got twig legs, particularly if there's a load of loose material floating about. So I didn't want that, and I'm sure a lot of you guys don't want to have the appearance of having skinny legs. So I wanted to come up with a pair of shorts that would just be the perfect fit to complement the aesthetic of the leg, but not make it look as though you're trying too hard and you're wearing like a pair of skin tight shorts which don't allow for any movement. Now, with this being the first sort of physical product, which I've had experience with selling, it was a bit of an eye-opener, realizing that it obviously requires quite a bit of investment. And in the past, when I've been dealing with or selling digital products, whether it be training programs or courses, things like that, there really is no overhead. The only cost seems to really be the time which you put into creating the course itself or the digital product. There's not really a huge amount of risk. So for anybody who's thinking about launching their own brand or company, understand that it's going to take quite a bit of money to get things up and running. And if you don't have much money or you're not sitting on much money, then I probably wouldn't bother at all. I'd rather just spend that time and attention trying to grow a business online, digital, minimal overheads, minimal risk. The next major thing which I learned was the importance of planning ahead. I severely underestimated how long it would take for me to actually end up with the final product, particularly when it came to the bikinis and some of the activewear which I released. There was just so many rounds of sampling whereby, they would send the first draft. I'd be like, no, I don't like this. This needs changing. It would take another month or maybe sometimes another 2 months where they'd send another sample. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, it's better, but still it's not good enough. And then it would take another month or 2 months for me to actually, maybe it was the 4th or 5th round of sampling where I actually got to the point where I was happy with selling the product, because I don't want to sell you guys shit. I don't want to put my name to something which I'm not happy with. So a lot of the products which I released could have or should have been released sooner. And one of the biggest mistakes I've made to date, I would say, was the summer of 2021. I just drastically underestimated how many shorts we would sell. So before the start of summer, we had, a full warehouse full of stock, which I assumed would be enough to kind of get us through summer. But they sold pretty damn quick. And it got to the point where we'd pretty much sold out of all the key styles and sizes. And it was the busiest point in the summer. I think it was like in between July and August. So for 6 weeks, the peak of summer, I literally had no stock. So there was just no point in me really advertising or doing anything because I couldn't sell any products because I didn't have any. Another thing I've learned is it's very easy to spend money, and I do have to be quite strict with myself in terms of budgeting. Like I could quite easily pour so much money into advertising, ads, doing the campaigns, and it not necessarily giving you the return that you want. I think particularly with some of the campaigns I've done this summer, I've spent a lot of money on the campaigns. And although I think it's worth it because it makes your brand stand out, it's different, it's eye-catching, and it gives the brand a premium look to it. There's been certain things which I've paid for, which I thought, oh, maybe that wasn't necessary. Luckily, if there's ever been times where I have overspent because I have other revenue streams which are doing pretty damn well, I can just take a little bit from that and then invest it into the company. So it's really not a big issue. But if I was relying upon just one form of income, and that being the sales of the shorts, there would have definitely been some sticky situations. And the final thing which I learned is it is pretty goddamn competitive. The clothing industry is so competitive. And I guess you could say the same thing for a lot of the markets. The fitness industry is competitive. The social media game is competitive. But with clothing, it's very, very competitive, particularly with bikinis. I mean, my God, like launching my own bikini line, I am competing with thousands of bikini brands. And these companies have been in the game for a long time. They know what they're doing. The quality of the products is very good. The designs are very good. And they've just got teams, massive teams behind them to run the company and to grow the company and to basically crush startups like me. So it's difficult to stand out. And even if you do have a good product, sometimes that's just not enough. Do you know how many friends I have in the fitness industry who've tried to launch their own brand and it's just failed miserably? They'd look at their following, be like, hey, I got 1 million followers. Like, I can do this. I can bring out my own clothes. And they do that. And then they realize how much money it costs to buy the initial stock. And then they realize that, oh, actually, no one's really buying my products. And it ends up being a massive headache. And they just think, do you know what? I don't want to faff about with all this hassle. I'd rather just continue to get sponsored by, a fitness clothing brand or whatever it might be. So it takes a lot of work, a lot of hard work. And for a lot of people, it's not for them. So that is the story so far. I've enjoyed it. It's going to be a hell of a lot more enjoyable, no doubt, as we progress into the future and the company grows. And to celebrate the release of this video, I am offering some juicy discounts on the website. It's very rarely that I will put discounts on the website, but it's Black Friday special, limited period of time only. there's discounts on everything, and some of the products go up to 40% off. So now is the time not only to add to your collection, but maybe you want to finally get something from the THRST brand, which, you know, if you've been watching my videos for a long time and you haven't purchased anything before, I'm very surprised, and to be honest with you, a little bit disappointed. If you want to show me some love, show some support, then the best way you can do that is just to purchase something. Anyone who's purchased something from THRST in the past, I love you guys. I appreciate it massively. Without you, the company would not be where it is today.